Качнет колыбель, тихо дрема ночница, коснется лба нежной рукой. Уставшее солнце все ниже садится, скрываясь за Русью рекой. И месяц уж по небу ходит высоко, он млад нынче и златовлас, а зори его холодны и далеки, но чем-то похожи на нас. Ой, Лёля, усни, а я буду тихонько тебе напевать о ветрах, о лютых морозах, о зимах студеных, что спят в человечьих сердцах. Там хитрые змеи, там вещие птицы, там люди без песен и глаз. Они под полой прячут души и лица, но чем-то похожи на нас. Пуще всего ты узнаешь, мой сокол, о жизни великих людей, о воле невольной, о доле нелегкой, об удали славных мужей. Там дивные дивы да щедрые нивы любовь и красу берегли, чтоб снова рождались благие и счастливы все дети славянской земли.
The Field Guard. What may sound like a myth or horror story to many is harsh reality for the 200 Iron Falcons of the canyon named Aeonir's Blade. According to legend, the guardian gods fought back the Field Guard, ancient mythical demons, and sealed them in a tomb. Ever since that day, the Field Guard have tried to break free, raising hordes of the undead from the sand to do their bidding. And it is only the Iron Falcons who stand between them and their return to the world.
Здорово, быстро, все на скорую руку. Продолжим. В принципе, можно не добивать. В принципе, армия у меня собрана небольшая. Тогда можно сказать большая.
Blesses us with her rays. A good omen.
Тоже получается железо. Случить тень. Дерево пошарок. Не хватало у меня дерева. Сколько я помню. Так, камень тоже добывается. Какие ресурсы дают.
Building completed.
Можно еще построить. Запас это был хороший. Так, железный муник теперь.
Building completed.
Чего не хватает? Не хватает. Я понял, почему здесь нельзя. Здесь завоевывать точку нельзя тут ничего делать. Потому что я же воюю за другую сторону. Что у них медленно строй восстанавливается. Пора идти вот так, я думаю. Это кто идет? Че никто не ремонтит? Сказал ремонтить. Все больше не хватает у меня места. Так, запишемся. Пойдем в атаку.
Say the word,
Давай.
everyone. The land's sealed. If you can set
Well, if your life depends on it.
For the fire wielders!
Child's play.
Let's burn them!
Что я помню про катапульту, что-то говорили.
Uh-huh.
Эти катапульты на северо-востоке.
Shit. Take a second.
we go.
Shit! Help me for heck's sake!
Вау. Храбрость.
Let's see. Now would you look at that?
Pathetic.
No, this can't be.
They're all dead.
Oh, really? Just how did you guess that?
Seems I'm late for the party. Good job you did there, High Keeper. It's not like I warned you this would happen if you didn't cooperate.
You bloody piece of filth! I swear I'll...
He's right, Highkeeper. If you hadn't refused to cooperate with the Deathmen, these soldiers would still be alive.
How dare you?
Forgive me, but we should not discuss this now. What about the two? Where are...
What was that?
The Vile Dark. The undead. They must have broken the seal. There's no other choice. I need to perform the ritual.
What? No, you...
They will try to stop me. Defend me as long as you can.
Are you deaf? Stop it right now. This is an order.
Shit. Here they come.
Will do.
They will fall.
What?
Что тут ставить?
Fine.
Yes?
Стой, чё?
She's causing. Make your peace.
More of them. Protect Kiroi!
Yes?
Say the word.
Get ready. Kiroi! No, you can't. Shit.
Yes?
What's next? Yes? Whatever's necessary. What do we need? What's next? Got it. There it is! Take out those undead!
Надо было с этой стороны, да. Если знал, что они с этой стороны не нападали. Если они бы нападали бы с этой стороны, было бы все сложнее. Нахуй с ним.
Understood.
Пока все здесь не обшаришь, блядь.
Got it. Interesting. Will do. Let's see.
Пиздец, ебанулся. Так, ну этого у меня нет. Потому что лучше вон выносливость.
What?
Тебе тоже выносливость, что ли, повысить? Еще.
Зарака.
Тебе что повысить? Это у нас маг. Слушай, тебе тоже пока нечего делать.
So, what's the plan?
Все. Тоже.
Corporal.
Who?
Yes?
What do you want?
I killed them.
That ritual he performed, what was it?
A sacrifice. He knew there was no time to seal the tomb manually, so he decided to act. Dutiful until the end.
What about the field guard? Are we safe?
As long as we hold the fortress, yes. The world is safe. And as always, we're the ones who paid the price.
Well, will you be able to hold it?
Yes. The undead took this fortress because we didn't expect their ambush. We do now. As long as we keep the gates shut, we'll be able to fend them off.
What about the stone? We still need it.
Of course. You'll get your stone. Just wait here. Here. Is this the one you're looking for?
It is. Where did you have it?
In our treasury. It has been in the fortress since our order was founded. We never knew what it was and assumed it was a Hibernian artifact. Turns out it wasn't. Here. Take it.
Thank you.
Thank me. You still have no idea what you prevented from happening, have you? If you hadn't been here, the File Darg would have awoken. And then the blood burn would have been the least of our worries. And here I am, not even knowing your name.
It's Tahar. Yes, like Isamo Tahar.
Oh, so you're... Huh. I... see. Well, Aenir's blade was never affected by your father's rebellion, but it seems you don't take after him. That's good. Anyway, all the best on your travels, and good luck.
Likewise.
Sir Catras, I think we should have a word. Yes, you will get your helmet.
Ну что дальше делать?
Just give the word.
Вот же тут все мы стирали. Дело тут больше ничего. Все тут обошли. лучник. Чем с ним выносливость повышать, блядь? Наручно. А добавить параметр. Тоже маг, да? Не так много. Проплец посильность. Рах не хранить не может.
What do we need?
Tahar, what is it?
There's one thing I've been wondering about.
Good question.
Yes.
Exactly. You see, and
that's the reason Zane, Helena, and I betrayed him. Come on,
Do you really want to tell us you didn't see that before? The tomes were all about power.
I knew it was about power, but Asamo always told us that he would use that power for the greater good. And it's not that far off. I mean, can't you imagine? With the power of the tomes, we could have united the world. Even made it a better one. No more persecution of the deviant. No more wars. No more suffering.
You mean an aristocracy, with a couple of mages playing God?
There's always someone playing God. And honestly, don't you think the world would have been a better place if there were gods who actually cared? Who involved themselves in politics? I do.
I'll be off.
Huh?
I want to buy some better...
Music to my ears. What did you have in mind?
Давай на все, блядь.
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
Well, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. How did you become an assassin?
Why do you want to know?
No particular reason, I suppose. I'm just curious.
Huh. I see. In short, my mother sold me. And after an incident, my owner noticed my talents. He started to train me to carry out jobs for him. And when I was 17, he had an accident. I've been an independent assassin ever since.
Your mother sold you? But where? Why?
Because she needed the coin, and already had 4 children to feed. And as for your first question, where there is demand, there is a market. Particularly in a big city like Greyfell. It's not as uncommon as you might believe.
You're saying there's a slave market in Greyfell?
Slaves, sex, murdering for pleasure. Just imagine every dark desire you can think of. And you know what the Greyfell Bazaar has to offer. I find it interesting that this surprises you. Didn't you serve in the Royal Army for 8 years?
I only joined shortly before the Mage Wars started, and the Greyfell affairs were the responsibility of the Greyfell Guard. I just didn't know.
Well, now you do. I do not agree with the purity of light in most aspects. But they are right when they say there are many sinners in this world. If you believe in the concept of sin, that is.
How do you feel about this? Your mother selling you off?
Well, I used to feel strongly about it. Now I've simply accepted it as part of my past. But there are plenty of reasons for that.
Even if she needed the money, that's despicable.
Well, to her credit, she didn't take it lightly. At least as far as I can remember. I was only 7 when that happened.
That doesn't make it better. That's quite the story.
Is it?
So, who is this man who bought you?
I won't talk about that. This chapter of my past is done, and I want it to stay buried.
That sounds like you're hiding something.
I am. But it should be of no relevance to you. So, tell me, Pariah, how did you become the betrayer's child in the first place? It's rare for a child to defy their own father.
He lost his vision. When he started the rebellion, it was about the safety of mages, but he became more and more radical. I just couldn't stand by and watch anymore.
That's admirable. Well, thank you for sharing this with me. Either way, is there anything else you need?
Goodbye. Got it.
Поговорить с Гором. Так больше не с кем базарить.
Understood. What's next? Now would you look? How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was chosen.
And how does that work?
Complicated. Are you sure you want to hear the whole story? Time isn't exactly on our side.
It isn't, but the more I know about your abilities, the better. You're fighting for me, after all.
We're not fighting for you, Tahar. We're fighting alongside each other. That's a big difference.
Maybe, but for now, I'm your commander.
On the field, yes. But that doesn't mean you can order me or my men around as you want. Still, you've got fire. I like that. Let's make it short then. Shapeshifting is a gift of Zarek. One that only the best of his shamans are granted.
And how does one become a shaman?
He has to be chosen by a tribe's chieftain. You see, magical talent is a lot rarer among orcs than it is among humans or elves. In my tribe, there was only me and Rain. We both discovered our talent by chance. I, when I was 9, and put out a fire that had broken out in my family's hut. Everybody was asleep. Even the damn fool that had been tasked to stand guard. When I woke up, the entire room was in flames.
So it was your magic that woke you?
No. I needed to take a piss.
Makes sense. What happened then?
I panicked and started screaming, as every child would have. However, the only thing that did was make me inhale the fumes even quicker. My vision blurred and I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was on a bed of hay in the village shaman's tent, and everybody was staring at me, as if I was Zarek incarnate. I asked what happened and they told me. Just when I had lost consciousness, it had started to rain. Not just a little. It was a full-fledged storm, a deluge from the skies. With not even a minute, all the tents in the village had been flooded. The fire wasn't extinguished right away, but was quickly put out by the other orcs that had been awoken by the storm.
How did they know it was you? It could have been a coincidence.
An unlikely one, yes. But you're right. According to my brothers, I had an orange shimmer in my eyes and was muttering strange words when they took me to the shaman. She told me that was a clear sign that I was gifted and that I had fire in my blood, as my tribe likes to say. Of course, it changed my life entirely. All of a sudden, I was my Cal's pride. It was strange, not just for me, but also for my kin.
Who trained you? The healer?
Yes, but only about her craft. Primitive ghost callings, alchemy, medicine. I learned my magic from an elder who lived in a tiny shack, a 15-mile march from our village. I woke up every day before dawn, walked for 2 hours, served him, and received my lessons. Then returned to my Cal shortly before midnight. It was hard, yes, but it was insightful. Those long walks in the darkness, the solitude at the foot of the mountain where his shack was, they shaped me.
How did your family take it?
Well, they were proud. But they also weren't sure how to treat me anymore. For example, my father stopped taking me out on the hunt because he was afraid that something might happen. Which is ridiculous. Shaman or not, an orc who can't wield a spear isn't an orc at all. Also, my siblings became withdrawn. Jealousy, of course, but also estrangement. All of a sudden, their baby brother had become this strange being, which had apparently been bitten by Zarek himself.
It's always like that. Being different isolates you.
I guess.
Interesting. And who is this Rain you mentioned earlier?
Did I? Well, that's complicated. I don't want to talk about it.
All right. Regarding this rain you told me about,
No, Tahar. Accept it.
Сорочницы надо побазарить тоже.
Let's see. How are you holding up?
Fine, I guess. Thanks for asking. You know, Corporal, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes?
Well, not knowing your mother and all that shit your father put you through. Do you ever feel lost?
Why do you want to know?
Oh, I'm just wondering, I guess. So, what's your answer?
I manage.
I see. You know, I haven't told you that yet, but actually our pasts aren't so different. Save for the fact that my father didn't try to conquer the world, at least not that I know.
How are our pasts alike then?
Simply put, I also didn't know my mother. And my father was a bastard if there ever was one.
I take it you and your father aren't on good terms then?
You are of great wisdom, Tahar. No, we were not. I was and still am the only heir of the family. And if there's anything my father ever cared about, it was prestige. You see, it might not be obvious, but I'm actually of noble blood. Pure blood, as Finn and Mir elves call it. Nothing impressive, small nobility. You know, similar to the kind of Nortander nobility that's always around at royal festivities, licking everyone's boots so that they just don't forget about them.
So I assume your father put you under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I barely had a childhood. It was all stern-faced teachers instead, trying to feed me language, history, math, and magic from the day I could speak. And I can't even remember all those festivities and religious ceremonies I had to attend. It was as if I learned the meaning of the word small talk before I learned how to ask for my mother's teat. Not that she would have been around to listen.
Where is your father now?
Dead as a doornail. He got assassinated some years before I was allowed into the priesthood.
Sounds like he got what he deserved.
I don't believe people get what they deserve. They get whatever life or the Guardians bother to give them. Murderers live to be 100. Children die in the birthbeds. Ultimately, the biggest fallacy is that we like to believe that there's someone who gives a damn. We're on our own, and we have to make the best out of whatever life throws at us. I did. And even though not all worked out as I had planned, I'm here. And I'm free.
But you still feel lost sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But I'm working on it. Anyway, we digressed quite a bit, didn't we? Sorry, my fault. Sometimes I just talk too much. I'll see you around, Tahar. And thanks for listening.
Interesting.
To this day, the Shaper's magical and technological prowess remains unrivaled.
Now would you look at that?
Yeah, do you need something? I'm a tad busy.
I'd still like to know more about how you ended up in Nortender.
Bugger and blast. Here I was hoping you'd forgotten. Alright, I'll tell you. But only under one condition.
Yes?
That I get to ask you a personal question too.
Then we have a deal. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Fair enough. I was born in the Windwall Mountains. Sorry, still sorting out my thoughts. It's been a long time since I last told this story to anyone. Alright, one more time. As you can imagine, I was born in Windwall, a child of the rocks.
Come again?
A true dwarf, as some would say. Born in the buried city, not on the outside as the traders and farmers are. My family was quite privileged. Not nobility, but my mother and father led a big smeltery which supplied one of the finest smithies. Moon silver weaponry. Ever heard of it?
I think so. The commanders of the Royal Army used them.
Figures. Well, my childhood was a rather unremarkable one. I had 2 brothers and a sister, and even though I was the oldest child, I was always the most quiet one. I learned quickly how to wield an axe, and I still know how to do it, but I never took pleasure in it. The same goes for my parents' craft. For some reason, Nihalf had given me a talent for metallurgy, but not the desire to use it. Instead, my biggest love was always made with ink. Books.
But I assume your parents didn't approve of them.
Oh no, they didn't mind. I had 3 siblings who could do the job as well as I, so the future of our family was secured. On the contrary, they were quite accepting, which wasn't usual amongst dwarves, especially not those in Windwall.
So, what happened? Why did you leave Windwall?
I'm getting there, Tahar. When I came of age, I found work in the Windwall Library. That time was also when I deepened my knowledge of the Shapers. I devoured all the books there were, and bought whatever writings the merchants brought in. They smiled at me, talked of me as the strange bird, but I didn't care. The more I read, the more spellbound I became, and the more I dreamed of journeying through EO to solve all those mysteries not yet uncovered.
Huh. And what kept you from doing just that?
Well, 2 things. First of all, my attachment to my family. Secondly, Gilak.
Gilak?
My, partner.
You had a partner?
Yeah. We met... I'd rather not go into detail too much. Fact is, we lived together for 6 years. He was very dear to me. Let's put it that way.
I understand. But something happened, didn't it?
Yeah. The Blackstone Rebellion. Ever heard of it?
No.
A coup. A small group of rebels tried to overthrow the royal house. It was bound to fail from the beginning. The rebels were anti-traditionalist and wanted to establish a new order, where it's the people who have the power, not the nobility. Gilak was one of these rebels.
Oh.
Yeah. At first, before the coup, they tried to raise awareness by giving underground speeches. A noble endeavor, but not at all thought through. Most dwarves just don't care about politics as long as they can have their mugs of ale. First, he didn't ask me to participate, but the more sour things went, the more he started pushing me. At one point, we had a fight, when he asked me to steal money from my family to support the movement. It was terrible. Finally, push came to shove, and he told me of the coup. He knew that despite my occupation, I was a remarkable fighter and Earthshaper, which is why he asked me to fight alongside him. You can make a difference, that's what he said. By Nihalf, he was just so naive. He really thought it would be like in the old legends. A group of courageous dwarves fighting their way to Algrim Castle with me at his side. I just don't... Forgive me. It's strange to talk about it like this.
It's okay. Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah, sure. You can imagine how torn I was. I knew he'd die if the coup took place, but I also knew that I couldn't stop him. When I told him he was mad, he called me a coward, a delusional bookworm, who'd rather spend his whole life dreaming about the past and changing the present. And then he left. Next day, I found him beheaded by a royal guard. They didn't even make it to the castle stairs.
I'm sorry, Iskrim.
It's all right.
What happened then?
I ran. Not only because I'd rather have died than return to that empty house of ours, but also because they would have arrested me too. Our relationship wasn't a secret, and in their eyes, I was as eccentric as Gilad and his friends. And we all know I left my family a letter, telling them not to come after me. Bought a horse and rode as far as it would take me before collapsing. It was 9 years ago. I haven't returned ever since.
I see. And since then you've been studying the Shapers?
Yeah. If there really is, as people say, a silver lining to everything, then this would be it. I'm finally doing what I was too afraid to do back in Windwall. Living my dream. Though the price I paid for it was high. And you know what? There's a third reason to my fascination with the Shapers I haven't told you about yet. It's Gilad. Stupid as it may sound, there's a part of me who wants to prove him wrong. To show him that the past has value, that it can guide us towards a better world.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing this, Iskrim. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It felt good to talk about it. I didn't expect that. But you're not off the hook yet. The question, remember?
Right. Shoot.
Your past is even more unusual than mine. Growing up with a man like Isamo Tahar as your father? Without a mother? And then the whole thing with the Mage Rebellion? I know you've been through a lot. Now, I was wondering, if you could trade that past you've had for a different one, would you do it?
What kind of a past could I choose? Anything?
Anything.
I wouldn't.
That surprises me, to be honest. But I think I understand. Either way, pleasure speaking with you. Hope this wasn't too grim for you, but then again, you asked for it. Give me some time now, will you?
Sure. Take care, Iskrim.
Tahar, may I help you with something?
Goodbye.
Yeah, do you need something? I'm a tad busy.
Goodbye.
Let's see.
Tahar, finally! Do you have the stone?
I do. What now? How do we connect it to the Nexus?
Well, I've done a little research on that. It should be pretty straightforward. Give me the stone for a second, please.
Sure.
Thanks. Now, let's see. Whoa!
This is amazing.
What the heck just happened? Was that the stone?
Yeah. It seems like our plan worked. The stones are the power sources of the Nexus.
Not sources, Tahar. They're simply the catalysts. As I said, the energy, all this magic, it comes from someplace else.
Well, I definitely know why the Shapers were so powerful now. If they were able to harness that, I wouldn't want to be their enemy.
Pain.
Pardon?
Rekindling this place. I can feel their thoughts now. At least, some of them.
You mean the Shapers' thoughts?
Those who connected themselves to this place. The ones who had the power of telepathy. They left an echo, and whatever wiped out the Shapers, it caused pain. Horrible pain.
I see.
Well, fascinating or not, we need to connect our minds to the Nexus to find the source of Bloodburn, right? Can we do that now?
No. It's not strong enough yet.
Well, we knew that already. We need to find the second stone first. Let's head to Everlight and find that archaeologist. He's our best chance of finding that island. Will do. Got it. Understood.
Так, чё, куда попиздуем? Все свет. Ладно, сын. Блядь, я глаза не выполнял это стало. Карта неплохо сделана тогда. Тебя он шевелится. Красиво. Так, кого взять-то?
It will be bloody.
Ты пойдешь.
Danger up ahead.
Давай теперь взять, что ли?
All right, here goes nothing.
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems to struggle with. The biggest ones being the ever-growing gap between the rich and the poor, an uncontrollable rise in crime, and the Purity of Light's aggressive crusade for new followers.
Will do. Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Это ж надо.
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems to struggle with. The biggest ones being...
Yes?
I am ready.
Я должен туда попасть. Может, с собой надо этого долбоеба брать? Как туда попасть, блядь? Блять, что так искать нахуй? Блин, на неизвестном мост. Пойдем в свет и поищем этого археолога. Блять, где его искать-то? Уровень 14, вот он уровень, блять. Пиздец.
fine. They will burn.
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems to struggle with. The biggest one...
Кусок археолога искать, где его искать, блять?
Sure.
В жопе или чё?
Sounds like a plan.
Понять нихуя не могу. Ну с этим надо побазарить. Сука тут. Сюда можно. Может.
What do we need?
As a free city, Everlight's leadership is not chosen by the right of blood, but elected.
Hmm? That way. All right. Huh? Yes?
Now would you look at that?
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems.
Interesting.
This blasted elf, he just won't shut his trap.
What's wrong?
He's been citing poems for days. They don't make sense and they are horrendous. Someone should either pay him to leave or show him we don't want him here.
Let's see. That wasn't a particularly good poem.
Rats with their hairy, ugly butts. They gnawed on our nuts, dangling dead between our legs. But maybe we fend them off next.
That way?
The hardest thing about business is minding your own. There are few cities where this proverb...
So, what's the plan?
Sure.
Now would you look at that?
Got it.
Что-то хуета какая-то, блядь. Нихуя ничего не понятно. Что тут делать, блядь? Тоже нихуя ничего не понятно. Дебил, сука.
Alright, why not?
Что тут делать?
Interesting.
Walking corpses.
Yes. Let's see.
Yes?
Yes? Understood.
Короче, хуй знает, где искать этого археолога ебаного. Тут хуйня какая-то.
Will do.
У меня уже был, сука, один баг с такой похожей хуйней.
Of the few refugees who make it to Everlight, many are shocked to find that their troubles do not end there. Though its neutrality as a city-state left it largely unscathed during the Mage Wars, the city has its own mountain of problems to struggle.
Corporal?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
И в тушение буди искать, блядь, этого пидораса, блядь, заново. Вообще, блядь, никаких нюк. ничего не подсказки. Только, блядь, надо идти в свет и искать, блядь. А где искать тут, блядь? Что делать вообще? Ой, пойми, что, блядь. В пизду. У нас же, блядь, подсказка. Что-то это мечено, сука. Андруса, буду надо заканчивать, нахуй. Блядь, хуй знает. Буду спать ложиться, башка будет посвежее.